anniversary of the UK's membership of the European Economic Community, the forerunner to the EU, the EEC. I haven't said that for years. So what have we gained and what have we lost in the last 4 decades? And will Britain and Europe grow old together? Or will we get divorced? Let's speak to our MEP, Nikki Sinclaire, who joins us on the show. Nikki, morning.
Good morning. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Happy anniversary as well, I should say.
Oh, no thanks.
I didn't think you'd be too keen for some reason. It's interesting because you just mentioned that you come on the show on Twitter, and you've already started to see the strength of feeling. People are going, oh, I've got something to say about this. And there is a real animosity still towards the EU and towards the fact that obviously it costs us a lot of money, isn't there?
Absolutely. I mean, I think what the annoyance about it is that we haven't really had a say, and that's why I campaigned so much for a referendum. We were brought into the EEC as it was, which was just a trading agreement. It was supposed to be the ability to trade goods, to help each other. It wasn't supposed to be this kind of federal superstate that we had to be bound by the laws the way that we are now. And we had a retrospective referendum in 1975, which again, you know, if people want to see the original documents, they're on the website wedemandareferendum.org, which they can visit and read them for themselves. And again, it was about trade. It wasn't about being citizens of the European Union, which we are now. And I think people are really frustrated that they've been deceived for 40 years and beyond about this relationship, because Edward Heath, who was the Prime Minister that brought us in, and Harold Wilson, who gave us that referendum but told us to vote yes, knew exactly where this was going. It's there, to be fair to the European Union and the bureaucrats of the European Union, which I very rarely am, but that they did lay it out. It was there. It was our own politicians that deceived us and continue to deceive us about the European Union.
And I mean, what was that, Nick? I mean, do you think that they didn't read the small print, or they thought it was a good idea, or they just thought,
no, I think our politicians knew exactly what was going to happen. I really, it's there. I mean, it's a matter of public record sorry, too early, I can't remember the founders of the EEC. What they actually wanted, it was there. It was. They wanted a federal superstate all the way back to the Coal and Steel Agreement of 1951, and then the Treaty of Rome was 1957. It was there. It's just that Edward Heath and Harold Wilson deliberately deceived the British people of what we were going into, and it was a step-by-step approach. And even now, even today, you have David Cameron saying we can renegotiate, we can have this different form of membership. That isn't possible. In order to do that, you have to have consent of all 27 countries, and that we are the second largest contributors to the European Union. And are Greece, Spain, Ireland, Poland, Slovakia, etc., are they really going to give up that position where they're actually taking British taxpayers' money? Of course they're not.
Well,
renegotiation is not possible.
I just wonder, I mean, you mentioned, you're quite right, you know, it was a step-by-step inclusion, and I just wonder whether the exclusion will be the same, and I wonder whether we're starting to see that already. A couple of days ago, I was reading an article suggesting that, you know, it's not going to be us that says we don't want to be part of this anymore, but the other member states are going to say, look, do you know what, we'll take the UK's money, but if they want to be a second-class member of this organisation, then they're quite welcome to do so, and they'll get fed up of us, and they'll marginalise us, won't they?
Yes, but that's we're having the worst of both worlds, and that's my biggest change since being an MEP of 3 years. When I went there, I just wanted us out. I didn't care. I just wanted us to leave the European Union. Now I'm much more of a pro-referendum on the basis of actually I believe we're in a horrible halfway house. We're not in there making the case for our country and being part of this club fully, which I don't think will work, but at least those who believe in it can do that, or we should leave altogether.
But my argument isn't that a lot easier for people who are Eurosceptic to then sell it to the people who are sat on the fence and say, well, look, you know, we're now in this situation where, you know, if we were sort of almost marginalised by the other member states, that we're marginalised, we're throwing all this money in, we're getting nothing in return. It makes the anti-Europe sentiment easier to explain, doesn't it?
It does, but one of the things that we demand a referendum advocate is a royal commission. We would like David Cameron immediately to start a royal commission to look at the cost-benefit analysis, the pros and cons. Because if I was on with a pro-European debating with you now, we'd be debating how much it costs per day, how many of its laws are made. We'd be arguing about that. Wouldn't it be nice to have an official judicial committee that sits down and actually works out the figures, and then we could have a national debate and then let the people decide. Why are they so afraid of the people? We've had 40 years of them not allowing the people to decide on the real truth of our relationship with the European Union.
But do you worry, though, that even if you do that, you end up in a situation that Ireland had, where they had a referendum and they got the wrong answer, so they went, well, I'll tell you what, we'll do another one, come back when you've got the right answer, and they did, and they accepted it. I mean, you just think, even if you had a referendum, that what chances that you'll get what you want?
Well, that says everything about the European Union, doesn't it? No, we would want a binding referendum, and I would agree. If that was at the end of the day, if people said they want to be part of the European Union, I would accept that. I would move on from this and do other things. But I just feel so passionately that the British people haven't been given a say, and I think it's just 40 years. It's about time. No one under the age of 55 has had a say. This is 1973, 40 years.
Yeah, so when you look at it like that, it's quite frightening, isn't it? Nikki, we're going to leave it there. Thanks for joining us this morning. Appreciate your time, as always. MEP Nikki Sinclaire joining us on The Breakfast Show this morning. A 40th anniversary of the UK's membership of the European Economic Community. Again, do you know, we were talking about the fiscal cliff in the United States, and because it is such a huge issue, because there are so many things, and Nikki touching on some of the things there, like the cost per day, just to run our contribution to...